All right, we are back with another Drive Across 65 weekly MLB ranking show with a couple of asterisks in that title. Obviously, we're not weekly. Missed last week, wanted to take a week off. Just observe, man, make sure I wasn't crazy. Turns out baseball is crazy. It is what it is. We're going to keep handicapping the same way, keep approaching the game the same way. We'll end up with positive results at the end of the season. I think we're plus 13-ish units right now. Make sure you follow along on Twitter to catch the sides on Twitter, giving out advice on there. Anyways, we took a week off, weekly show. I'm still going to try to get out every Wednesday. The other half of that title, MLB rankings, is still going to be ranking esque. Instead of giving out rankings, I'm going to give out grades. And I'm just going to bunch teams together in different tiers of where I think that they land. Instead of splitting hairs over who I think is number 6 or who I think is number 10, we'll just put them together because with this show being weekly and all the variances that could be and all the craziness that is baseball, this just more justified to give out grades and bulk teams together. That way, you don't see a team going from 4 to 10. You'll see a team being a B minus to a C plus. I think it'll save me from pulling my hair out a little bit too. So we're going to dive into it, test that out from that aspect. I'm pretty excited about it, and you'll end up seeing a lot of the same esque as how the show was before. You'll see the bottom teams at the bottom getting Fs, top teams at the top getting A's. But instead of saying this team is 1, 2, 3, we're going to say these team all have A's. Speaking of, we're going to start with the Fs. The only A's that the A's team is going to get is the A in their name. They are an F. We have the Royals down there, the Nationals, the Reds. The Cardinals, they are beating the Cubs right now in the series. That might change before this recording is over. Give the White Sox an F plus. They're playing well right now. And the Mets are so bad. They have the highest payroll in the MLB, and they're just so bad. It's crazy. They got swept by the Tigers. They lost the series at home to the Rockies. They have one of the best offensive, if not the best offensive player in the league. Shout out to Pete Alonso for the plus 250 home run prop. Also, he is our offensive player of the week for said home run prop against the Reds. Tied for first in the MLB with 12 home runs. Pete Alonso, offensive player of the week. New York Mets, big F for failure right now. It's a weekly show. All right. Benefit of the doubt. Verlander is a miss right now. Scherzer, suspension, injury, all kinds of stuff going on with him. You're an F right now. You're an F. Moving up, teams that get a D. The Pirates. They have a great record. I think they're sitting at like 21-16 right now. I was backing them for a while. I like them a lot, man. I like that team, how they turned it around. You guys know I'm a big Connor Joe guy. But they got swept by the Rays and the Blue Jays. They're looking like the Pirates that we know right now. The Brewers, they lost the series to the Giants. This one hurts my feelings. We got the Twins, lost series to the White Sox and the Guardians. You cannot lose a series to the White Sox, but that's why the White Sox got the F plus. Astros, they've lost their last 2 series. The Marlins, we're giving them a D minus. If they haven't given us a great 14-inning game against the Cubs the other day, which I was in attendance for, shout out to the stadium tour. They would have an F. That was a great game. Phillies, they got swept by the Dodgers. But Bryce is back. A little positive momentum for him. Doesn't help their grade at all this week, but Bryce is back. And unfortunately, the Cubs. I'm not a Cubs fan, but I like backing them. They had a great offense this year. Wrigley was a great environment. I absolutely loved it, but they're not showing up right now. Maybe they're victims of Wrigley. The wind's been blowing in on them. I feel like that team is built for big hits and home runs, and that's just not the place to do it. Not sure what's going on with them. They lost 3 out of 4 to the Nationals. Like I said, they're losing the series to the Cardinals. They got some issues. Let's get to the C's. Got to figure out how I'm going to transition in between grades right there. But these teams are getting the letter grade C. We got the Blue Jays. They got swept by the Red Sox, and then they swept the Pirates. If that's not a team that's right down the middle, I don't know who is. We got the Yankees. C plus. They've been playing so bad that's left everybody with a bad taste in their mouth. They could have been a B though. They haven't looked great without Judge. They're beating up on the A's right now, which is what they're supposed to do. They lost the series to the Rays, who's a great team, but then they beat the Guardians, who's a medium team. So I mean, they're in the same boat as the Blue Jays. Give them a C. The Angels, they're built so weird. Also, we gave out the offensive player of the week. The defensive player of the week, Shohei Ohtani, just passed Babe Ruth for the most Ks for a two-way player, which makes the argument for that team even more strange. They have 2 generational talents on that team, and I can't figure them out for the life of me. Shohei Ohtani and Trout, they should just be – that's crazy. We got the Padres in there. We're going to give them a C minus. They lost to the Dodgers in a close series. I believe that game 2 ended 2-1. Could have went either way. The Guardians and the Giants. The Giants are weird. They beat the Astros and Brewers in a series. Did I read that right? It's weird. Giants are weird right now. Maybe the injury bug that was going around is finally left that dugout. And maybe they're coming back around. It's a weird team. Moving on up, these teams are getting a B. I gotta work on a transition between these grades. We got the Orioles, the Rangers, Red Sox, Diamondbacks. I really like how Kid Carroll, man. He's really, really growing on me. The Mariners. The Mariners have a really, really bad record for giving them a B. But they swept the A's like they're supposed to. They beat the Astros in the series. Just saw today that Julio is moving to first time in his career he's not leading off. It's interesting. That coach trying to shake it up there. So everybody sit down. If you've commented before on how I was ranking teams, you're not going to like this one. It is a weekly based show. Okay. It's a weekly based show. That's why the Mariners, who don't have a great record, ended up with a B, and the Pirates, who have a pretty good record, ended up on one of the lower tiers. The Tigers right now. I got the Tigers at the B. They was at like a B plus. I can't. If how I tier this is how I'm gonna stay consistent all year. This Tigers team has a B plus. They just beat the Cardinals. They beat the Guardians. They swept the Mets. Was it 3 or 4 games? I know they played a doubleheader one day. They swept their Mets for sure. And they're 16-19 on the season. That's a really weird team. And the other one that's gonna ruffle a couple feathers, the Rockies, who also beat the Mets in the series. Maybe these teams aren't good. Maybe they're just all beating Mets in the series, and I just think that they're good because the Mets payroll is so high. The Rockies beat the Mets in the series, and they swept the Brewers. That's a pretty big deal. Shout out to the Rockies getting to B. That leaves 3 teams left. Three best teams in the MLB. One of them I'm not happy about, but you gotta give credit when credit's due. The Dodgers are killing it right now. They just beat the Brewers, Padres, and swept the Phillies. Can't take anything away from. If I'm gonna give the Tigers a B, I have to give the Dodgers an A for their latest record. And obviously the Braves and the Rays wrap us up. Those are the top 3 teams in the league right now in the grade of A. I will figure out how to transition how I'm going to talk about the grades. But I like it now. I like doing it this way right now. Feel like I've learned a lot. ranking them and tearing them like that. I think it's helping me to handicap. And that's why one of the reasons I wanted to do the weekly show anyway. It's to spread knowledge, obviously, but it's also to keep myself in check because you look at teams and you see the Yankees or the Mets with these huge payrolls, and they're not good this year, and they're always favorites or close to being favorites in games where against teams that are hot right now, like said Tigers. You got the hot Tigers and the Mets. You think low class team, not a ton of payroll in the Tigers, really great team, tons of names, big payroll in the Mets. The Mets should win that series and win those games. If you watch and you follow along the rankings or the grades I'm giving out, you'll see that it's sort of a what have you done for me lately aspect. And I think it'll help narrow down or ground people onto which way to lean in games. Hopefully, that's the goal here: is spread knowledge, entertain a little bit, make people laugh. That is the Drive Across 65. I'm not going to go on and on. Shout out to everybody who watched and listened, though. I will work on how to transition the grades. Like, comment, share. Appreciate you guys. Hashtag Drive Across 65. Pineapples do not go on pizza. That is a fact. Good luck, everybody.